myself, I created this brand as a casual animal lover, just having a dog, and it was my gateway into the lifestyle.
This is Defender Radio. Michael Howie, and this is Defender Radio, the podcast for wildlife advocates and animal lovers, brought to you by the Fur Bears. Wuxly Movement is the animal-free, made-in-Canada outerwear brand that animal lovers across Canada are raving about. Now, full disclosure, I myself have 2 of the jackets, and they're both ridiculously warm and comfortable. I was wearing my transitional jacket last night and couldn't get over just how lightweight it was. Perfect for walking JJ. Inspired to create a winter coat that wasn't adorned with coyote fur or stuffed with goose down, James Yurichuk and his longtime friend Anthony DeBartolo developed Wully Outerwear, which was recently rebranded to Wuxly Movement. A direct competitor to outerwear companies that use real fur or down, seeing Wuxly Movement gear on the street means, quite literally, that the lives of animals were saved. I visited James at the Trinity-Bellwoods office of Wuxly Movement in Toronto to discuss the history of the outerwear company, the brand update, and what the Wuxly Movement has their sights set on next. So we're here in Toronto, the Wuxly head office. We've got the nice Woodburn sign on the wall. The helicopter just went past. We have construction and sirens and people and all kinds of things going on. And inside this building, there are coats and vests and jackets and hats and bags and a team working away on this great Canadian product. And it feels like just yesterday we were sitting down and talking about the idea of you guys doing this new product. It's been a pretty big journey so far.
Yeah, it certainly has. I didn't know what I was really signing up for when I tried to start up a fashion brand, but here we are.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the beginning. I mean, I think a lot of people know the story now, but let's go over it again. Why you decided to do this? I mean, you're a football player. You got the world in front of you.
Yeah, it's actually back in 2012. I'd been traded back from BC back to Toronto, and I'd say that my CFL career was kind of teetering at the time. I didn't really know what was going on. I was living with my girlfriend at the time, Daniela, just a 1-bedroom basement apartment in Toronto. And I'm like, you know what? I got to change this situation. I might be out of a football job soon. And, I was just kind of thinking of different things to kind of what's going to be my next step after football. And it kind of came to me one day. I was just out shopping. I actually had to get Daniela her first winter jacket. She was immigrating from Brazil, so I had to get her something warmer. She's going to be flying out of town.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to woo her to stay with me in Toronto, despite the cold weather. We're getting, minus 30 instead of plus 30, what she was used to in Brazil. So I went shopping, and I was going up and down Queen Street West there, and I was trying to find a nice Canadian-made warm winter jacket. And I got out there and I saw there was a lot of Canadian made, but they all had fur and feathers, and it just didn't seem right for me, being an animal lover, growing up with a dog. And I thought to myself, surely they gotta have materials that can keep you warmer than this, that are animal free, just with the technical advancements in fabrics we've had over the last 20 years. And so I pitched my best buddy on it. I'm like, let's make an animal free parka. I'm like, I already got the first customer ready. It's my wife. And my best buddy, Anthony DeBartolo, he directed me towards a manufacturer in North Toronto. So I ended up making my wife her first winter parka. And I guess that's kind of where the brand was just born.
So you get a brand and a wife. It seems like a pretty good life decision.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah, she stayed with me, and she's still in Toronto. So that was like the best field testing for me. It seems like it did keep her warm.
Oh, there you go. And so it's not like you or I growing up with the cold weather either, right? It's someone who's new to it. So
yeah.
Even better.
I'd say I'm a lot more tolerant for the cold. And so she's a great testing subject coming from Brazil.
And we've progressed so much from there, watching your company grow and the movement grow. What goes through your mind when you think, Well, that was 2012, and now we're here in 2018 getting ready for the winter season. And like I said, you've got this beautiful office. You've got all types of products you're talked about. You're in the media. Fashion magazines are calling you and saying, hey, we need your opinion on something. Like, it seems like you've come a pretty far way in 6 years.
Yeah. You know what? We've had great support and loyalty from our early adopters. You know, we've done our best to always deliver a great experience. And, you know, I think it's been well received so far because people are telling their friends, they're coming back for their second, third product. And you know, that really means the world to us. But at the same time, I feel like we're just scratching at the surface right now. You know, the more that I learn about fashion, the more that I know that I don't know.
Yep.
And so I'm just trying to learn this game myself. And, you know, the lucky thing is that there's a social initiative behind it. And that's what really keeps me going. Because just as we get bigger, it seems like the bills just pick up. And, you know, I'm just, you know, if it was the money that was motivating me, I would have left a long time ago. So I'm still here, and you know, I'm just, you know, motivated more than ever to get this thing really where it needs to be and compete with the big brands in Canada.
Well, and speaking of the big brands, when we see Canada Goose jacket, we'll use them as the quick example. We know that there's at least a couple of geese. There's at least a coyote, all of whom have died in the making of this product. And we won't get into the semantic argument of who actually pulled the trigger. They ended up on the jacket. How do you feel? I'm trying to think of how to phrase this in the right way. But when you see someone wearing a Wuxly Movement coat, it's not just that they've bought your product and that the social benefits of that are going to pay forward, but it also means that at least 3 to 4 animals didn't die for a coat. Yeah. So how does that compute in your mind?
I guess, you know, it's like the double benefit. You know, it's, you know, I get that warm feeling knowing that, you know, we're saving a lot of lives by going animal free. And then to have someone wearing and, like, you know, invest that kind of money into a quality Canadian product and, you know, wear it proudly on the streets, that means the world to me because, you know, and I think that means the world to everyone that works on our team because, you know, everyone works so hard and whenever someone wears our product, it's accumulation of everyone's effort. And so to see it on the streets is really cool for me. Yeah.
And it's also, and again, it's neat wandering through your office here. While I was getting set up, you know, I went and I stole some of your coffee. I took 2, actually. And just sort of talking with everyone. And it's neat seeing you've got such a diverse work group right here in Toronto with people who live in Toronto. And it's not, again, like a lot of other companies where it's, well, yeah, you know, the figurehead lives in Toronto and then everyone else lives, you know, somewhere overseas or whatever. Everything is really done here. Yeah. There is a legitimate sewing machine downstairs. Like it's a very impressive setup to be able to do all of this in the city.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a true design house now. We got a cool location so that, you know, we want the young creatives to come on our side and we need to give them inspiration being here in Trinity-Bellwoods Park. A lot of creative and great positive energy around here. And yeah, it's just, you know, it's got to match our brand. And, you know, I feel like this neighborhood is really taken into us. You know, you got your fresh restaurant in the neighborhood. And, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, believe in our movement, and that's inspiring for us. And so it only makes sense for us to put our headquarters right here.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to stop at Fresh on my way out probably to pick up my lunch for the drive home. Speaking of the movement, you've gone from an outerwear company to the movement. Yeah. Can you explain how that evolution occurred?
Yeah. So, yeah, when we came out, we are known as Wully Outerwear, and we recently rebranded this year to Wuxly Movement. And so the first portion of that, as Wully, we just felt like there's a connotation that there was wool in our name, which we didn't pick up earlier. With Wuxly, I think people can take us a little bit more seriously, and I feel there's a little bit more of a luxurious feel to it. And I think what draws some of the people to the other Canadian brands is that luxury, and so we're trying to deliver on that as well within our brand. The X in the name represents change, and so we're trying to make change. It also represents tech, and so there's quite a bit of tech, including the military grade technical fabrics that we use as our main ingredients, and which have been proven to be warmer than fur and down. As far as the movement, that's twofold. I think that we are kind of leading this animal-free movement because the outerwear company is one of the biggest categories where animal products are used, and so we're trying to make it more cool to go animal-free when you style up. And also movement for us, winter is known as a sedentary time of the year, so throughout our product lines, we're trying to promote that movement even during the coldest conditions. And that's so important these days because, these Canadian winters, when you're cooped up inside all year, you get that the seasonal
affective disorder.
Yeah, you got it. And so by promoting movement, you're getting outside. When you get outside, you get that vitamin D. When you get the vitamin D, you feel good. When you feel good, you live warm. And live warm's our slogan. So live warm not only when you're wearing our products, but live warm in your everyday actions and interactions.
Absolutely, and I can tell you wearing my I've got the parka and the in between. There's a term for it. I know you have
the midweight.
Midweight, that's it. And wearing those, I'm unstoppable in winter. And the other thing I can actually say, I'll come back to the materials in a second, but I know a lot of people when they're looking for outerwear, the concern is always sizing and stuff. And I'm a large guy. I'm not too tall, but I'm large.
Yeah.
And everything fits me very well. So
yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah. And I can understand like people going to our online store that they may need some assistance picking out their size. So one of the services we have available, you can either book an appointment to come see us in our Toronto Design House here on 884 Queen Street West, or you can also book an online appointment. And so, whether it's Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp, we can kind of put you in with one of our brand reps and you see exactly, and we can kind of do an eyeball test. We can talk about some of the uses of the jacket. So before you pull the trigger on one of our garments, you know exactly what size would probably be best for you.
Yeah. And that goes, it's so nice to be able to get that kind of service too. It's as someone who has to wear weird sizes, it can be very frustrating. So. And talking about the materials, you've mentioned that it's military grade tech, and this is something that I see in my role with the Fur Bears, online a lot, obviously, doing literature, doing research, as people saying, well, fur is the warmest, and this and that, and we've always done this.
Yeah.
And what stands out to me is this isn't just, oh, well, we're layering, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. This is the stuff that, like, the military guys who are going to go live in Arctic conditions so they can, detect Russian warplanes or whatever crazy stuff they do up there. Like, this is serious business.
Yeah, it was actually developed, our Primaloft installation, it was actually developed by NASA and the U.S. military. The soldiers were complaining when their down jackets got wet. They had zero heat retention, and sometimes the wetness came from the outside, sometimes it came within.
Yeah. And
so they developed this Primaloft, and the great thing about it, it keeps 98% of heat retention even when it's wet. So, we got bouncers on King Street West here in Toronto, and they're out in the rain for 5 hours without a problem. And so that's our main insulation. We also have a lot of sustainability factors built within our products. Our outer shelf, for instance, we have it made in a 100-year-old company in Montreal. And what we love about them is they actually reuse the heat from the dyeing process to power the whole facility. So very sustainable operation.
Cool. Yeah.
And so that's why we like to source our fabrics from them.
Awesome. One of the big things you're doing, and we are recording ahead of time here. We're still in late September, but we will be airing this in October.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a bit about the program that I think excites every single animal lover in Canada, and that is the TradeIn Program.
Yep.
So can you tell us a bit about how that works?
Yeah, so it's called the Live Warm Trade Up Program.
Mm-hmm.
And so we encourage people to, if they'd like to try out our product, to donate their fur trim parka or down parka to us, and they will receive a credit for purchasing one of our product. And then we're going to redistribute their used products to homeless shelters across Canada.
Outstanding.
And I think, we know the animal lovers love us, but we want to start introducing this to a lot of the mainstream consumers. And, I'd say a lot of the big brands have done a great job of marketing fur and down as the only way to stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
But we've done laboratory testing that actually shows differently that our insulation is warmer than down. They actually had to double test it.
Really?
And they were even surprised in the laboratory. And so we want to appeal to these people that may have invested in a fur parka over the last couple of years to, trade it into us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you a great credit towards ours, and we'll redistribute that to homeless people. So it's a win-win for everyone, and they're staying warmer.
Yeah,
And
that's incredible. And that's, when we talk with people who say, oh, well, I've got this coat, I don't know what to do with it, and blah, 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 blah. And they say, oh, I don't like it, but someone gave it to me. This is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
They get a better product, and someone who needs something gets something to keep them warm. Not as warm as a woolly would, but warm enough as the season moves through.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful solution, and that's what I love is solutions to these problems rather than just complaining.
Exactly.
And what's next? I mean, so we've got the growing company.
Yeah.
We've got environmental sustainability. We've got social responsibility. We've got awesome programs to trade in bad products for better products. What else is there for you to do? Is this the top, or are you going to keep going higher?
Yeah, we're just scratching on the surface,
Mm-hmm.
I think these kind of initiatives will, raise great awareness for us. And like our slogan says, we'll live warm. Like we're all about doing positive actions and positive interactions, whether it's with our customers or, helping homeless people and, saving animals, creating jobs within Canada, anything within that we're looking to support.
And right now, through, I don't know what the date is, so I might punch that in later, or I'll just include it in the show notes. Any new or existing monthly donors for the Fur Bears are going to get a chance to win one of the vests, which are beautiful. So everyone needs to sign up to do that.
Yeah, no, this is a great opportunity. It's a beautiful piece. We have it quilted out in Montreal. It's got 2-inch diamonds, and it's something you can wear 3 seasons because you bring it out in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it underneath your parka or wear it on warm days in the wintertime. And then, you bust it out again in the spring. So get involved with this competition here.
All right. And the last thing I want to ask you about is the experience of working with Olympians.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool and very, very well narrated sponsorship that you had of a couple of Olympic athletes. What was it like? I mean, being involved in that, I think that's sort of another one of those you've sort of... You've propelled forward to the point now where you're supporting Canadian athletes. Yeah,
we were beyond being overwhelmed with the amount of emails saying how well narrated the video was. No, it's a great nod for us on the company that we're getting supported and endorsed by these Olympic athletes that they're endorsing our movement. And while not everyone that wears our brand would be vegan or, live the totally plant-based lifestyle, I think it's a great gateway into that type of lifestyle. And, myself, I created this brand as a casual animal lover, just having a dog, and it was my gateway into the lifestyle. And so, I think just having their name attached to us, and it's just great for the brand.
You can learn more about Wuxly Movement by visiting them at wuxly.ca. That's WUXLY.ca, or finding them on social media. If you want to learn more about our monthly donor contest with Wuxly, check out the blog at thefurbears.com. That's it for now, folks. Remember to subscribe to the show on iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to get notified of new episodes. And while you're there, why not leave a review to help others find the show? You can also find me on social media. On Facebook and Twitter, I'm at Defender Radio, and on Instagram, I'm at Howie Michael. Until next time, I'm Michael Howie for Defender Radio, reminding you to stay informed and stay strong.